Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, can't approve payroll? BLACKHAT SYSADMIN when my paycheck is on the line. BLACKHAT SYSADMIN when my paycheck is on the line. Part 2. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Can't approve payroll? BLACKHAT SYSADMIN when my paycheck is on the line. So this tale takes place a long time ago, and to be honest, I'm thinking a lot about it now as I have now found myself out of a job, but well compensated, as a result of my actions as shop steward/union rep, /u/bitewave, and I should start /talesfromtechsupport or something. I will warn you, this tale is very technical, even for me, and includes the start of the step-by-step process of me finding a bug that was estimated to put over €1 billion of corporate bank accounts at risk. I've wanted to share this for a long time, and honestly only wrote up a full timeline of all the sh*t that hit the fan a few months ago for my lawyer. This is one of several tales. Part 2 is here, Part 3 is here, and Part 4 is here, which combined all culminated in me leaving the job where I felt most at home of any place I have ever worked so far in the finale. Cast of characters: Kel_Naranek, I'm the company and PAYCHECK guy specializing in the dark arts. I earned the hat I wear. See my other stories here. IT_manager, good guy who got burnt out after an ERP mess. He knows what he knows and what others know, a skill far too rare in the field, and can do the silent fin diplomatic support role better than anyone else I have ever worked with. CFO, a true expert at violating the DFIU, don't FSCK it up, rule with skin made of Teflon. So the year was 2012, and our anti-hero has just returned from a delicious lunch at the local Chinese place, when at the door to his room there is a knock. Kel, yes? In walk the CFO and IT_manager. Kel, what's up? IT_manager, we're having some problems with %money. Have you worked with it much? Kel, I know which host it is on, and have installed the software on a few of the finance team computers, but that's all. IT_manager, okay, well CFO came back from summer vacation this week, and his account isn't working. Kel, I know that there's password reset instructions in the IT-only wiki, you wouldn't be coming here just for that, so what happened? CFO, I know my password, I don't need it reset, I just need you to fix the bug and unlock my account. IT_manager, and we can't do that because the IT account is locked out as well. Kel. What? IT_manager, yep, normally I would use it to unlock CFO's account, but he decided to do it himself, as he remembers the IT account name and password, but the same bug that locked his account locked out the IT one as well. Kel, finally getting up to speed on the diplomacy, okay, well if CFO can send me permission in writing to try to reproduce and fix this bug using his account, I'll see if there's anything I can do. CFO, fine, just let me know when it is fixed, I still need to approve payroll for this month. The CFO walks out, and leave me an IT_manager there. Kel, he forgot his password, didn't he? IT_manager, most likely, yes. Kel, he never had our password, did he? IT_manager, most likely as well. Kel, you call the vendor about it? IT_manager, yes, and they can have someone unlock the account in 2 weeks. Kel, and payday is in 2 days. Don't you love the management around here? IT_manager, well, I don't think they'll be loved by anyone when we don't get paid. Kel, so, it comes down to me getting into the software, or our pay will be delayed. IT_manager, that's about it. Let me know if I can help or if you find anything. With that, IT_manager leaves me in peace. I soon get the requested email from CFO, including his username and password, and figure with that my CYA requirements for messing with the financial system are covered. So, first things first, I download and install the current version of the software on my work laptop, it was Windows software, and my work laptop was Windows, my desktop was Linux Mint Debian Edition. I then start up Wireshark and start the software. It asks me to give the IP address and port of the server, which I have from the IT wiki. Quickly I see a few hundred packets exchanged in Wireshark between the laptop and the server I just specified, which may already be a sign of bad security. As to the best of my knowledge, the server isn't secured with any public PKI-based certificate. I handled most of the certificate renewals for the company, so if it was using one, I would know. There was nothing provided beyond IP and port, so no way to authenticate the connection against a man in the middle. I decided at this point to take some rather paranoid precautions, and connected my laptop to the spare network interface on my desktop. Now, in addition to running Linux, my desktop was set up with a dedicated network connection to both our core internal router and to one of the two main IT infra switches. I had static MAC address tables defined throughout the infrastructure, and on my own machine, and encrypted tunnels using static keys to almost all our infrastructure. Normally this would be completely uncalled for, however the company I worked for made, among other security products, a network traffic auditing appliance. This appliance was designed to do MITM interceptions of a number of protocols, including almost arbitrary encrypted protocols. Because of this and issues I had with developers on that team, I had gone to extreme lengths to protect against them being able to intercept my connections. I had an EtherCAP-based setup to relay traffic from my laptop via my desktop already, so to Wireshark on the desktop I go. I proceeded to log in a normal user account in %money%, which I got from one of the people on the finance team, to get an example of a normal login. I saved that capture, logged out, and then attempted to log in with the CFO's locked account, and the locked IT account, saving each of them. With all three connection attempts saved, I got to work comparing them. I quickly discovered that the %money% application had a very unusual network traffic pattern, at least for what it was supposed to do. The server seemed to be little more than a SQL server from my brief interactions. Though Wireshark was unable to identify it and format the traffic properly, I was getting plaintext English SQL when I used follow-TCP stream. From what I pieced together, the startup and login process went as follows. Also, all database table and column names are in Finnish security by using an encrypted language check. User starts up %money% on their computer. %money% connects to configured SQL server, reads company name and version, which it displays on a login dialog. This connection is done using hard-coded username and password. %money% displays a login dialog and waits for user to enter username and password. %money% logs in with the same username and password as before, and does a select for that username on a table. If the username has a value 0 for one of the fields in the table, it then logs out, and logs in with the user's username and what looks like a hashed or salted version of the password. A lot of other SQL follows, over 400 more packets, so I didn't bother digging into it at this point. If the username has a value 1 for the above field in the table, it logs out, and serves a "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. So at this point I've already identified the locked account field, or at least a client-side check that seems to be the first hurdle to get past in getting my paycheck. No matter, while the SQL is not being nicely decoded by my client, the 0 or 1 value in the response was always a set number of characters after the email and username field pairs in the response to the select statement. While I didn't know what the other field in the middle was or what it was used for, this I can fix with EtherCAP. I quickly write up a rule that, upon seeing CFO_email, CFO_username, 1 replaces it with CFO_email, CFO_username, 0. I do the same for the IT account of course as well. Back to Wireshark and another login attempt as the CFO. This time I get further, but not all the way to success. %money% checks the field I identified as a locked account field. EtherCAP rewrites the response so that while the response had a 1, %money% saw a 0. %money% proceeds to attempt login with the CFO's username and password, but fails. %money% logs back in with the hard-coded account, and does a insert of the CFO underscore username, a 32-character hex string, and a Unix timestamp into a table. %money % does a select count on that table with the CFO username. %money % gets back 6. %money % then does an update on the table with the locked account field, setting the value to 1. %money % logs out and serves the hated "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. So, now I have what looks like a login failure log, and a count of failed login attempts. In addition, I have an update of the locked account value. So now we have the problem of the CFO having the wrong password. Let's try the IT account. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. EtherCap rewrites the response so that while the response had a 1, %money % saw a 0. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the IT username and password, but fails. %money % logs back in with the hard-coded account, and does a insert of the IT username, a 32-character hex string, and a Unix timestamp into a table. %money % does a select count on that table with the IT username. %money % gets back 6. %money % then does an update on the table with the locked account field, setting the value to 1. %money % logs out and serves the hated "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. Well, sh*t, either I have the wrong password for the IT account, or there is actually some server-side protection here. I take a break, have some coffee, play a round or two of pool with myself, then come back at the problem another way. Let's let the server clear that bit for us, and see if that gets past whatever protections are in place. I craft another EtherCap rule that, when the locked account field is updated, changes the value to a 0 if it is being set to a 1. I then try the IT account. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. EtherCap rewrites the response so that while the response had a 1, %money % saw a 0. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the IT username and password, but fails. %money % logs back in with the hard-coded account, and does a insert of the IT username, a 32-character hex string, and a Unix timestamp into a table. %money % does a select count on that table with the IT username. %money % gets back 7. %money % then does an update on the table with the locked account field, setting the value to 1. EtherCap changed it to a 0. %money % logs out and serves the hated "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. I log in with the IT account again. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. Gets a 0 for real. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the IT username and password and succeeds. %money % loads the UI, tons of SQL starts flying, over 3,000 packets, then on top of the UI I get the dreaded "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. %money % hangs and has to be force quit. Not quite success, but pretty damn close. I've identified a server-side check for locked accounts and a way to unlock arbitrary accounts, simply by updating that update statement. The application even starts to work, but catches on to the tampering at some point during post-login startup. I'll try the CFO's account to compare. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. EtherCap rewrites the response so that while the response had a 1, %money % saw a 0. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the CFO username and password, but fails. %money % logs back in with the hard-coded account, and does a insert of the CFO username, a 32-character hex string, and a Unix timestamp into a table. %money % does a select count on that table with the CFO username. %money % gets back 7. %money % then does an update on the table with the locked account field, setting the value to 1. EtherCap changed it to a 0. %money % logs out and serves the hated "this username is locked, please contact your administrator message. I log in with the CFO account again. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. Gets a 0 for real. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the CFO username and password and fails. %money % logs back in with the hard-coded account and does a insert of the CFO username, a 32-character hex string, and a Unix timestamp into a table. %money % does a select count on that table with the CFO username. %money % gets back 8. %money % then does an update on the table with the locked account field, setting the value to 1. Ettercap changed it to a 0. %money % logs out and serves the hated "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. So I guess the CFO really had forgotten his password, no surprise. But wait, I have a user account that works, and the software has a password change function. Some more packet captures, and I've made myself an ettercap rule to, when a password change is called, rewrite the password of an arbitrary account, instead of the user in question. I've also noticed the hex strings I've been seeing in the failure log table, as I've identified it, seem static per account. First thing first, I rewrite the CFO's password to, let's call it Hunter2. I then try to log in as him with that password. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. Gets a 0 for real. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the CFO username and password and succeeds. %money % loads the UI, tons of SQL starts flying, over 3,000 packets, then on top of the UI I get the dreaded "this username is locked, please contact your administrator" message. %money % hangs and has to be force quit. Now we are talking. I go for some more coffee, then start digging through the SQL, and discover that a similar select statement on the failure log table. I ettercap up yet another rule that, for the packet immediately after any select count on that table, rewrites the count to be 0, and give it one more shot. %money % checks the field I identified as a locked account field. Gets a 0 for real. %money % proceeds to attempt login with the CFO username and password and succeeds. %money % loads the UI, tons of SQL starts flying, over 3,000 packets. %money % just sits there, UI loaded, waiting for input. Success. I try the IT account and the same happens. I try disabling my ettercap rules and I'm back to the afterload hang with the username locked. I then try to unlock the accounts using the official method, but the application hangs and crashes. So, I can at least log in as the CFO and using the IT account, but only with ettercap butchering the network traffic massively. I go get the IT_manager and show him what I've managed to achieve, and we agree that we should let the CFO use my laptop to make whatever payroll approvals or other work he needs done, and we go to him and explain that while I have a workaround, it requires specialized software that doesn't work on any of the normal computers in the company, and he will have to do his approvals on my laptop until we get the vendor here to fix the server bug. He's quite annoyed about sitting in my lair to do payroll, but will of course get it done now that he can, and wants us to get it fixed as soon as possible. 2 weeks later the tech from the vendor shows up, and I tell him about the security issues I discovered. His response: "Oh, we know about those issues and the lack of encryption. It has already been fixed in the product, but your company is using an almost 3-year-old version that doesn't have the fixes. We have you scheduled already to be updated after the end of the year closing. Because of this being a regulated financial system, we can't do it until then at the insistence of your CFO." So, this is where I leave this story for now. Continued in part 2 here. BLACKHAT SYSADMIN when my paycheck is on the line. Part 2. The events of this tale take place about 2 years after the first part. It is continued in part 3 and part 4. I will warn you, this tale is moderately technical, and includes the continuation of the step-by-step process of me finding a bug that was estimated to put over €1 billion of corporate bank accounts at risk. I've wanted to share this for a long time, and honestly only wrote up a full timeline of all the sh*t that hit the fan a few months ago for my lawyer. This is part 2 of several tales, which combined all culminated in me leaving the job where I felt most at home of any place I have ever worked so far in the finale. Cast of characters. Kel_Naranek, I'm the company and PAYCHECK guy, specializing in the dark arts. I earned the hat I wear. See my other stories here. Beguiler, the guy who was assistant to IT_manager, now departed due to the events in this tale. He's forgotten more about exotic systems than I've ever known, but half my coworkers are resistant to his manipulations simply because they can't understand his accent. CFO, a true expert at violating the DFIU rule with skin made of Teflon. Government_guy, a master of the Finnish business and government handshake process. He has more connections than a neural network, but feels more like a slime mold the more you deal with him. Since the last tale, 2 years have passed. IT_manager has now left the company and the company owner has asked me to step in and work alongside Beguiler to handle IT needs, as money is rather tight and the company has a hiring freeze. It is now just after the summer holidays, and I'm sitting in my nicely air-conditioned lair when a wild support ticket comes in. From CFO. Subject: %money %Salasana. Description: it was all Finnish to me, but Google Translate gave something I could understand. I came back from vacation, and I am unable to access my account in %money %. Reset my password for me. Sighing, I wish that CFO would stop intentionally sending support tickets exclusively in Finnish. I don't speak much Finnish, and Beguiler speaks even less. About half the time we have to go to another coworker to translate his tickets for us due to use of slang, and CFO knows it, but will not stop. Alright, this problem I know, and it is well documented in our IT wiki. I quickly assign the ticket to myself before Beguiler can pick it up. I start up my laptop, which I recall had the %money % software installed from a few years ago. As it boots, I recall that the vendor promised the company would get a security update to it to fix the issues I found, but I never followed up on it. Upon starting %money %, I am greeted with a message: you are using %money % version A.B, but the server you are trying to connect to requires version AC. Please have your administrator update your client and try again. Okay, so at least the update was done. I update my client, in place install on top of the existing install, and note it required no more information, so still implying it may be vulnerable to man-in-the-middle attacks. I then follow the instructions in the IT wiki to unlock the CFO's account. As I am doing this, I note that there are actually 2 accounts for IT, with different uses in the wiki, one called Manager and one called Admin. The Manager account is used for password reset and unlock. The admin account is used for changing permissions, adding and deleting accounts, etc. Indeed, I look at the menus, and I see that as the manager account, while I can reset the CFO's password, I cannot add a new user, or change permissions, and the system had a dozen different permissions. Those were available when I logged back in as admin, but I was unable to do any password management tasks or lock/unlock accounts. This looks, actually, really good. Separation of duties that combined would allow abuse of the system, even in IT/sysadmin roles. Despite working for a security software company, this is something that has only ever been discussed as an option we might add into our man-in-the-middle auditing program, and is missing in all our other options. While in a company of our size, this feature wasn't needed, it was great to have, and made me feel quite good about the software for a few minutes. I let the CFO know his account is unlocked, and request his permission to investigate the bug that occurred a few years ago with the system to see if it has been resolved. I inform him I will create a dummy test account with only invoice submission permission, the minimum permission in the software for testing, if he gives the OK. He, in Finnish, thanks me for unlocking the account and tells me to go ahead and test, as long as I don't disrupt the system. So I go ahead and create Kel1. It has only the invoice submission permission. Login as Kel1, verify software looks normal, and logout. Log in with a bad password 5 times to Kel1, and get the locked account message. I fire up Ettercap again, and load my old scripts. Login as Kel1 with the bad password. My EtherCap script doesn't print out the expected debug message about removing the locked flag or unlocking the locked account. Is this actually fixed? Start up Wireshark and load my old caps, and compare side by side. Swear when I realize that the fields in the database table have changed size slightly, literally shifted 2 bytes to the right. Modify my EtherCap scripts for the new version of %money% and proceed to login as Kel1 with the bad password, and the account is unlocked. Login as Kel1 with the good password, and I'm in. Well, sh*t. This is not as good as I was hoping. I go for a coffee and join Beguiler as he's getting some filtered air on the balcony. I explain what I've found and ask him to verify I'm not hallucinating this, and he suggests he makes a Kel2 account and we see if I can break into it from Kel1. I agree, and we tell the CFO we are concerned the bug may still exist, as it looks like I may have triggered it, but the best way to be sure is to make a second account and see if the first account can trigger the bug in the second. This way no accounts actually in use for the company will be disrupted. He agrees, and off we go. I log into Kel1. I change Kel1's password to Hunter2. Reviewing Wireshark, I discover in addition to the update SQL command, it first does a select on the user's information including the password. Excellent, so I can save the old password and revert it. I modify the old EtherCap script to change the password for Kel2 when called with Kel1, and output the old value, so I can revert. Beguiler lets me know Kel2 is now ready, so I change the password for it and log in. I discover Beguiler never unlocked the account. All new accounts are created as locked and must be unlocked, separation of duties / two-party control. I proceed to unlock Kel2 by mis-entering the password 5 times. I log in as Kel2. I submit a dummy invoice for €0 for testing services as Kel2. I change Kel2's password back, using the output of the select statement from before I changed it. I then go to Beguiler and ask him to log in to Kel2. He does, and amusedly asked me if I failed to get in. I tell him just check your submitted invoices, and as he opens it he exclaims mother f*** cur. I then explain to him exactly what I did, and with the evidence clearly in front of him he agrees I am right about this, and the severity of the vulnerabilities. So, for those who want to keep track of what has been found, we have hard-coded username and password used for account administration. Client-side account administration, allowing bypassing of account lockouts. Lack of protections against one account updating credentials of another account. Unencrypted communications. In a financial application. By the powers of these vulnerabilities combined, I am Captain BLACKHAT. Wait, wrong show. So, this is real, still valid, and these are serious issues. Now I've gone to the vendor's support people once before and brought up these issues, having been told they were fixed, but that was not the case. We file a support ticket with the vendor, and 2 days later it comes back with there are no security issues in %money%. This, of course, pisses me off. I decide to take advantage of a new-ish employee at the company, government_guy. I've already had a few dealings with government_guy, mostly him coming to me to solve impossible issues or make him look good to his other contacts. He's realized I'm an expert of the dark arts and has a healthy respect/fear of me. I present to him the problem, and that the vendor is refusing to acknowledge that there is any security issue. He has me demonstrate what I can do, which I do, taking over his account for the demo false invoice, instead of Kel2, with his permission in front of him of course. After that he makes it very clear he understands just how serious this is. He then suggests I also demo it for the company's CEO and owner, which I do, and once the owner sees the issue, and I used the owner's account for this one, he is furious and wants to know how we will get it fixed. At this point, government_guy truly shines. He already has a plan. He has the company send a formal legal notice by courier to the Finnish office for vendor of %money% that, under Finnish law, we do not believe their software is fit for purpose, and are suspending paying our support fees until the issue is corrected. The notice says the company will be happy to provide documentation and proof of our claim in court, or to the vendor as well as a neutral third party in a meeting later that week. He then says he'll take care of arranging for a demo, and just to be ready to repeat what I did on IIRC Friday morning of that week, I think it was Monday, and don't worry about doing anything more with it until then. So, with this vulnerability confirmed and plans set in motion, I clear my schedule for Friday. The next day I am told the vendor acknowledged our notice and will be sending someone to the meeting, so I anxiously wait to see how it will play out. End part 2. Now continued in part 3.